Hi again. Today we're going to talk about the verb has versus the verb have, a couple animal attributes, and we're going to have our newcomers have a little exposure to the difference between singular versus plural nouns. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, you're going to draw, all you need is paper and pencil. You're going to draw maybe a little box, and then you're going to pick an animal. Once again, if you have some type of pictures, if you want to use the internet, you have that available to you, then fine, use that. So I drew a cat, and then I wrote, a cat has, a cat has. And as you're doing this with the kids, you're having them repeat. And as you draw, I'm drawing some ears, I'm drawing some whiskers, right? And then here I put a few lines, right? It depends on how many you want the kids to do. So for example, if I have an upper grade kid, if I have maybe a sophomore in high school who hasn't had much formal schooling, I'm not going to expect him to even copy several sentences. So maybe just a few. If I have someone who's had a lot of formal schooling, I could definitely have them copy a few more sentences because it's a little less tedious for them, and we just want the quality better than the quantity in terms of writing with the proper spacing, the proper capitalization, that type of thing. So here, if you can, you could ask the newcomer or your small group or your whole ELD1 class, okay, what does a cat have? Let's say the cat doesn't, let's say the kids don't really know. Let's say their English is really beginner. You could go ahead and you could let them know, well, these are whiskers, right? And you write whiskers. And so I put here in orange, I put maybe more basic language, but after a couple of months, you're going to find the kids are ready for things that are a little more complex. And if you have a grade level where your new generation science standards is asking you for like animal attributes or characteristics, go ahead and use some of those grade level words because the kids will get exposure to it. But this is still an ELD1 lesson because the main purpose is the difference between has and have. So they're getting their grade level vocabulary within science, but the reality is we really want them to start practicing that basic has and have, right? So then you're going to go ahead and take your words and you're going to make complete sentences. So a cat has a mouth. A cat has whiskers. A cat has fur. And you're going to, as always, read this with your newcomers 3 times, and then there should be copying it during independent work time, and then they could reread it to other kids. They could read it by themselves, like in a corner, in a soft voice, so that they're practicing their language in a safe way, where they're not being listened to by other kids. They're not feeling embarrassed because of any potential accents or whatever, right? So here at the bottom, I have a couple of cats. So instead of a cat has, it's cats have. Cats have. And here I put mouths, noses, whiskers, fur, tail. So I'm using the same words basically, and I'm changing them if they need to be changed because of plural or singular. And then you'll see it says cats have mouths, cats have whiskers, cats have tails. And the same thing, you're having the kids read it with you. And then I underlined has in the top portion, and I underline have in the bottom portion. And I suggest you have your kids do that as well because they're noticing that when it's one, the verb is has. When it's more than one, the verb is have. Thank you so much. See you next time.